Got my cup of coffee. Gonna do a quick tabletop, folks, on this knife. I'm not gonna waste a lot of time because this knife has wasted my time twice. What we are looking at here is the Gerber US-Assist, a USA-made pocket knife with what looks to be a lot of really awesome features, capabilities with S30V steel. So lots to go for, and at under $100, you'd be thinking, man, this is going to be a great knife. The problem is that this has been a very problematic knife for me. This is the second one that I purchased, and both have had the exact same issue. And this just is a trend that I'm continually seeing with Gerber. I appreciate the fact that they're really trying to bring a lot of designs back to the US market, which I'm really thankful for. I like a lot of the designs, and on paper, and when you're looking at maybe Blade HQ or Knife Center or Amazon, you see the photos, you're like, that looks like a great knife. And then I get it in my hands, and there's always seems to be almost every time some sort of an issue. And so I really hope Gerber can get these knives, and we've seen a few of them now, that they in concept should be rocking, but have some sort of flaw that in my mind makes them fall short. So I'm going to share with you the big issue that I have, as well as some of the great things that I see with this knife. But again, I'm not going to do any, you're not going to see any action in this because I'm not going to waste my time on doing all of that for you because of the issues that I'm consistently having with this knife and the problematic aspect of the US-Assist. So let's go ahead and hit all the good points that make this knife something that in concept should be awesome. The first is just the cool color combinations. We got gray with some black features on here with the pocket clip. We got a stone wash finish. So that's nice. Classic clip point design. Plain edge as well. Gerber used to do a lot of only serrated. Now they're offering both plain edges and serrated, which is fantastic. So just aesthetically, I really connect with it right away. And honestly, in a lot of ways is a spitting image of the Mini Barrage. But another great aspect is it comes in at half the price of the Mini Barrage. The Mini Barrage is going to run you about $160. I've been able to pick this up for $80. So that is a huge benefit, and it has a lot of the same features. They both come with S30V steel. I keep wanting to say S35. No, S30V steel, both of these, which is awesome, which is a great steel and a huge upgrade over most. They're both USA made, which is awesome as well. They're both going to come in at just under 3 inches on the blade length. They both have saber grinds. This Gerber in particular has a great relief edge. So again, the blades very similar, even the grays there. I think these were designed about the same time, so I can't say one copied the other, but it's just cool to see all of that. Now, the one thing is that they didn't sharpen it all the way, and there's this huge almost choil there. I could actually choke up and use that, even though I don't think it was actually designed as a choil. This one, there's not as much space there on the Barrage. But weigh almost exactly the same. 4 ounces on the Gerber, 3.8 on the Mini Barrage. There's just a lot of aspects there. So that was one of the main things right out of the gate that I really liked, was just aesthetics, as well as the handle itself. Just filled out my hand really well at 4¼ inches. Overall length is about what I measured it out to be. Nice and full, all contoured very nicely. As well as the thumb studs. The thumb studs were great. And it's an open assisted version US-Assist, so it really bounces out there. I mean, it flicks and you can feel it. It is a solid spring open, and those thumb ramps just work perfectly to launch that blade out. And then it has a pin, or like a piston lock. So you push that thing in, plunge lock, it closes, and it's got great detent. It's not going to come out. Has a little button safety over here that's not kind of like up here, which the Barrage does have. It has this little switch up here, which isn't a huge deal, but it's just not quite as aesthetically pleasing as having this little safety button right here. Red is dead, and it will open up. Boom, flicks open again every time. I really like that, and then I just like that lock. You can easily push, depress it, swings closed, then there's the spring. You can feel it right there. Hit the spring, closes up. And again, price point, you're looking at half the cost for basically almost the exact same knives in concept. Open assisted, S30V steel, right about the same weight, about the same size, 160, $80. So half the price. I'm thinking this US-Assist has got to be rocking and going to be a great blade. Here's where the problem is. The major one, and there's two, but the major one for me is something that should not be happening. Out of the box, Now, again, this is my second one. The blade was perfectly centered. Every time you closed it, it was right on. But after about 15 deployments, and this happened on the first one, sent it back, waited about 3 months to see, kind of let the market do its thing, get a couple hundred more out there, maybe a couple thousand, buy another one, see if they fix the problem. They did not. What has happened is that the blade floats over to this side and rubs up against the liner. You can audibly hear it every time I close it. We're going to see if we can do it. You hear that little tap. That's literally the blade, and you can see there it is rubbing. The entire length of the blade, about an inch section right here, is just rubbing every time against the knife. So I'm not going to try and get in here with springs and washers and all that stuff to try and take this thing all apart, mess with it, try and recenter it, all that type of stuff. This is the second one that has done that. And for a USA made knife at about 80 bucks, that should not be happening, and it's happened twice now on 2 different models with 3 months in between each purchase of the knife. So that's a no-no. That's a huge problem for me. Hopefully down the line, maybe in a year or 2, they'll figure out what the problem is, get it lined up. But again, this is just a consistent issue that I'm seeing, and I cannot handle that in a knife. That's something that maybe I could live with like a $25 Chinese knife or something, but not an $80 USA made knife. That should not be happening. The second major thing is the pocket clip. Now in concept, I like that they did this wire. I love wire pocket clips. It's loop over, it's tip up, tip down. Love all of those things. Great. The problem is twofold. First off, nothing for lefties. So if you're a lefty, you're totally out of luck. And they even give you dual thumb studs here. So that was kind of an oversight in my mind. Even if they didn't give a tip up for lefties, because I know there's buttons and pivots and all that type of stuff, just give a lefty pocket clip right here. I think that was just a big airball and miss on the design of the pocket clip. The second is the pocket clip itself. It is ginormous and way off the body, too much in my opinion. It is bulky. When I hold it in my hand, I can feel it biting in all over the place when I put pressure on the knife and bear down on it. And this flare here is, I mean, like at least half an inch above the body. This thing is going to be catching on everything. You're going to be hooking it on the doors, cabinets, your counter, that type of stuff, bending it. You're ultimately probably going to rip this thing off, bend the wire, and either have to go back to bending it or try and ask Gerber for another one. Versus, just as an example here, the Benchmade, which is one of my favorite loop over pocket clips, you can see is way lower in the profile. It's probably about a third lower on the profile, and the flare is much less than what we have here on the Gerber. So this is way less likely to catch than this one. So if this had just been bent down lower, maybe you could take it apart, bend it, jack with it if you wanted to, but it's just so obnoxiously high. It's going to catch on everything, and it feels weird in your hand in comparison, again, to the Barrage. I'll give you guys a different perspective here. I mean, it's significant. I don't know how much you can tell on camera there, but it's definitely higher, and particularly this portion with the flare out is going to catch on everything. So that is another issue for me. So folks, in conclusion, I cannot recommend this knife at all because of the centering issue now twice. Again, this one will be going back, and just other problems with the pocket clip and things like that. This, again, has huge potential. If this was dead center every time, I think I would love it, and I would just have a little bit of a beef with the pocket clip. And if they brought down the pocket clip some, I mean, this thing would be a rockin' blade at $80. I mean, I would be screaming its praises, but I can't do that right now because of these consistent problems I'm seeing from Gerber with the US-Assist. Now, they also make a 420 version that's made in the US. The steel is 420 high carbon, but from what I've seen, they're wanting like 80, or not 80, but like 70 bucks, not much less, $10, $15 less than this model, which is silly for one, that steel. I mean, I can be getting all kinds of good steel for that price. I mean, you can get a Skyline with Sandvik steel for, $40, way higher end than 420 high carbon. You can get Aussate steel from SOG. Lots of different companies out there that can give you a better steel for less money. So I don't know why they have done that. If this was in the 420 was maybe like $50, $45, that could be a little bit more reasonable. But as it stands right now, I think going in at 60 or 70 bucks is just ridiculous for 420 high carbon. So I wouldn't go with that one either. They do offer some serrated versions in the 420. I don't know if they'll be doing that with the S30v down the, or yeah, S30v down the line. Again, I keep thinking S35. But guys, I can't recommend this thing. Walk away. I will have links in the description below, not for this knife, but for other knives, including the Barrage, that are kind of in this same vein, so that if you were hoping that you'd see a good report in this, and this video has made you decide that this item is not the right one for you right now, I will have links over to Amazon. That's always a great way to help support the channel when you guys use those hyperlinks for other knives, including this Barrage, that are, in my opinion, better, but still in that same vein of high quality, USA made, open assist, more compact folders. So if you're interested in checking those out, check those links below. I want to thank you guys so much for coming over here today, checking out the channel. Please subscribe, comment, like, share this video. I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts and questions you have on the US-Assist. I will answer in the comments below. And finally, always remember, stay equipped, stay prepared, and we'll see you out there.